Hello, everyone. Welcome to a brand new week of the weekly Forex market analysis. For the coming week, we will be looking at the Euro USD, GBP USD, AUDCHF, and the Euro AUD. Let's dive right into it. The premier pair on the watch list for the coming week is the Euro USD. For the past 1 month, we can see that this pair has been trading on this uptrend line, and the uptrend line would be the basis of our forecast for the coming week. We'll be looking at two possibilities on this pair. First possibility is a retest of the trend line for the bulls to go back up, and the second possibility is an outright breakout of the trend line if the Euro USD is able to drop into the area of the trend line for the bears to take over. And if this breakout occurs, another thing that you may also be considering is a retest of the trend line, the broken trend line, as new resistance for the bearish continuation to happen. So these are the two most likely scenarios on the Euro USD for the coming week. Let's look at what could possibly go wrong on this pair as well. So there are some negative possibilities to look out for on this pair when it comes to the forecast for the coming week. I made mention of a breakout, so you could have the breakout, but then it could be a false break for the price to just come back in a range for the bulls to take over the Euro USD. The second negative scenario would also be a false retest. That is, this pair would bounce off the trend line very nicely, and in an attempt to go up, it breaks back down. Those are the two negative scenarios that could be in occurrence on this pair. So take good note of that. Let us move on to the next pair. GBPUSD, the second pair on the watch list and the positive correlation pair of the Euro USD, is having a very similar market structure to the first pair on the watch list that we treated. So the GBPUSD has also been on an uptrend for the past 1 month, and we have this uptrend line to set up our trade ideas against. So it's a very similar forecast in terms of the Euro USD. It bears a lot of similarity to it. Quickly done, we will see, or we may see, the GBPUSD retesting the trend line for the bulls to shoot up, or an outright breakout of the trend line for the bears to take over on the GBPUSD. There could also be the same negative possibilities that I made on the Euro USD on this pair. So stay on the lookout for the false breakouts or the false retest for profitable trades. So much for uptrends on this week, eh? The AUDCHF takes the next spot, and we can see that it has also been trading on an uptrend line, and the trend line would be the basis for our trade ideas for the coming week. It needs a lot of patience to come to pass, since the trend line is far away from the current market price or where the AUDCHF closed for the previous week. We will be looking at a possible retracement to the trend line, and on the trend line, that is where we'll be looking at the breakout or the retest. So the first scenario would be a retest of the trend line for the AUDCHF to continue going bullish. On the second scenario, as obvious as it is to you, we'll be looking at the breakout of the trend line for the bears to take over the AUDCHF completely. Let us move on to the final pair for the coming week, which is the Euro AUD. Euro AUD is the final pair on the watch list as it takes the final spot for the coming week, and it is a negative correlation counterpart of the AUDCHF. So we will just flip around the forecast for the AUDCHF on the Euro AUD, as it also demands a lot of patience. We'll be looking at a possible retracement to the zone of the trend line for a bearish retest to come to pass, or if the retracement to the area of the trend line comes, we'll be looking at a possible breakout of the trend line. But for the Euro AUD and the AUDCHF, what I'm anticipating more are the retests of the trend lines for the trend continuations to take over. I'm not looking a lot at the breakouts at all. I wish you a profitable trading week and see you next week. If there are any good setups, do well to like and subscribe if you have any value from my content. Thank you.